All right, and welcome everybody. We're here, Season 7, Week 2. Well, just a little bit of a reschedule game. Grim Legion eSports versus Dynasty eSports. They both played earlier today. Grim Legion's eSports lost both their games 0-2. Dynasty lost one, came back one, finished it off strong. So we're going to have to see how these two teams play out with each other. But we're hot into the pick and bans here on Pro Draft, so let's get started.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. The wonderful play-by-play guys we're going to have today. I am Audio Adrenaline. I'll be your caller. We are right into the draft phase. We see Sejuani, Olaf taking away Zed and Rengar.
Now, Grim Legion's focusing pretty strongly here on the jungle. I'd be surprised to see another one come their way. They're trying to really pinch out Dynasty and take away a lot of the pressure that we've seen come through them, especially in these last couple games if you were watching. So I'm surprised, especially since I believe Olaf was one of their last played in just their third game they just played a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I have a feeling Grim Legion was watching this series. Velvet voted that MVP, so they're taking away his Sejuani and his Olaf that he was so good on. The Xayah as well from Sapling. He completely dominated in that series on that champion. And we'll see what they decide to pick up for themselves, as they're not going to let Yasuo through.
I'm quite surprised to see. I understand the Zed and Yasuo bans, and even the Rengar. I do think a lot of these picks are, or at least the picks for the bans, at least, they're quite interesting. Oh, a Twisted Fight
that we are going to have to keep an eye on, because Twisted Fate, couple new builds popping up. We get confirmation, though, that's not Twisted Fate, so we're not even going to talk about it. It's a Nautilus. They're grabbing probably for their support first pick. They have left Draven open, though. This is something that was banned away from Dynasty. Sapling had shown an affinity for it. Will they lock it in? They will.
It is locked in. So we're going to be seeing, they coming back. They pair it up. Morgana and Draven is going to be the bot lane we are seeing out of Dynasty tonight.
And I like this because the Morgana is left up. The biggest counter to a Draven lane is just, getting him behind early. Yes, you can try to play the hyper safe, but because of how strong he is early, you normally just want to go full CC, lock him down so we can't get those axes back. Morgana, very good at denying that. Super strong pair. Although, Grim Legion picking up a pretty strong dual lane for themselves.
Now, yeah, Nautilus and Caitlyn definitely have quite a good pairing, but with such a strong early game coming out of Dynasty, I'm surprised that we're not seeing something. Caitlyn's very safe, but I would almost expect maybe the Sivir. It's such a strong pick right now, and I mean, I feel like that would almost work and pair better, but I'm curious to see how Grim Legion's going to pair this out. Either way, they have picked and confirmed that they will be running the Jarvan 4, as long with Dynasty running Aatrox here.
Yeah, it is interesting to see out of Grim Legion. Really speaks to me that they're confident in their bot lane and they want to actually attack this Draven. Like I said, a Draven that's behind is almost useless. He doesn't really offer much in a team fight, won't win in the split push, and you can't put him anywhere. So picking up the Caitlyn, picking up the Jarvan, the Nautilus, if they can ever find Draven, if the Black Shield does not come through and they can lock him down, he will get blown up with this composition, all the CC, all the damage coming through. So they're really going for the heavy pick composition. Dynasty with that Aatrox, they want the team fight, though.
It's curious to see how that's going to play out as a whole, because Dynasty currently is showing their teeth a little bit here with Draven Morgana in the bot lane. They are actually enticing the fight to come straight to them at this point, and I'm curious to see how skilled they are going to be in that bot lane, especially if they want to pair it with this pick with the Aatrox into these team fights, because Draven Morgana can truly come through with that bot lane, with the damage, with the CC after all of it. If they put through with the Nautilus and Caitlyn and they are able to manage it, you're going to have to deal with the bot lane from Grim Legion that's basically behind and not quite into the set where they have their stats to the point that they need to be. So we might see quite the strong team fight oriented thing coming out of Dynasty here, especially if they're not really on the upheave with Grim Legion. But other than that, we do see finished ban phase here almost. Irelia, Kennen, Zoe, all these picked out.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what Dynasty goes for their junglers, because when you have winning lanes like this, an early game jungler can be so, so oppressive. If you can get any of the lanes ahead, they can then snowball it themselves because they already just had a flat out natural advantage in their lane. Or will they perhaps go for something more akin to the team fight? We do see the Sejuani banned out the Skarner as well. Two very good team fighting champions. I think those are smart bans. So Dynasty's jungler and who Velvet's going to pick, they're going to lock that in. I think this is brilliant if Velvet decides to lock it in. Like I said, early game jungler, when your laners already have a natural advantage, can just spiral out of control.
I will say, though, a lot of this early game pressure, it's risky. Dynasty's putting all of their cards on the table here with their certain playstyle they're going for. I like to call it the boom or bust. You either boom them out early or you just bust. You don't have the power to really come back into it.
Yeah, that is the risk. And if you look at Grim eSports, they actually have kind of the best of both worlds. They have some early game damage with the Riven coming through. Talk about styling up there in the top lane. We'll get to see Khan against Rat. But you have some early, game pressure with Caitlyn, the range advantage, Jarvan early.
I'm so excited.
Don't get your hopes up. I don't think this is going to get locked in. If they go for it, I would be extremely surprised. They'd be locking themselves into an AD composition, and she's actually such a weak champion at the moment. 32% win rate across the board. I think a much better pick.
Audio. As much as I do think the Lux is the better pick here, I do have to tell you, if you've been watching Qiyana, it's not so much that she's weak currently. It does have to do a lot with there's so much potential skill that can come out of that champion. You just have to understand how to play it. Either way, that's not what we're seeing.
Yeah, the problem is, though, she was just released a few days ago, although she does have a high skill cap, and if you know how to play her proficiently, she can be dominant, I'm sure. But have they really had enough time to practice it where they're comfortable pulling it out? I don't think so. The Lux, such an OP champion right now. I'm surprised it made it so long in the draft phase. I think it's going to be a much better pickup for them. And they actually do have the possibility of flexing Lux around in the mid and support lane. I expect her to go mid in the Nautilus support, but we've seen both those champions in both roles before.
Either way, looking to finish it off, they do pick up Talia in the mid lane for that great roaming potential and just consistently soft lead throughout the game.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And kind of looking at these matchups across the board, early on, at least, I definitely favor it in advantage of Grim eSports, actually. And I'm talking like pre-level 6 early on, just because the Lux is going to have some range advantage over the Talia. It's going to have some poke. Caitlyn, range advantage as well. And then Riven actually has perceptively very strong damage pre-6, even without the ultimate, if you're able to animation cancel correctly. Once ultimates start coming in, though, Dynasty eSports composition really unlocks. You get the World Ender for the Aatrox. You get the ability to collapse on side lanes with the Talia. Rek'Sai gets the execute damage coming in. So they're really looking to just get through that first couple levels and then break the game open come mid-game.
And the big issue with that is there's just such a small window of time for Dynasty. They gotta hit 6 and they gotta capitalize off it. And that's just about the time when you start turning your away from the lane, start looking to see what you can do with it. And it's just, there's this point where if Grim Legion is able really to stick through it and they're not going to give up too much during that point, suddenly Dynasty's not going to be looking too hot, especially with some great picks through and through with Grim, with Caitlyn and Riven. You're going to be having such a scaling potential that Dynasty may not have the chance.
Absolutely, you hit it on the nose. There's a very small window for Dynasty eSports to actually get a sizable lead in this game, and it's all going to come down to proactivity. They need to be making moves. Because you said it, the scaling coming in from the side of Grim eSports. Yes, it's not the best scaling in the world. We don't see things like a Sivir or a Yuumi or a Jax up in the top lane. But what they do have is incredible sieging potential. With the Caitlyn, with the AP Lux, this isn't just a support Lux, it's a shield bot. With the Nautilus pick potential, they can just set up around these turrets, and if they are even or ahead, there is almost nothing Dynasty can do about it as they just watch their structures crumble to the ground.
I will say it's going to be something that Grim Legion is definitely going to be shooting for here, but Dynasty does, in fact, know that that is their win condition. So I'm hoping to see, like you said, not just initiative, but they can't be playing on the back foot or reactively, really. There's got to be a lot of proactivity. They have to be playing ahead. I'm expecting to see a lot of great vision control, a lot of this potential movement around the map, knowing what they're going to be doing in the future rather than thinking what they have to go against in the present. I expect to see a lot of movement here out of Velvet, especially since he is going to be kind of that turning point for a lot of these lanes. Kessler as well with Weaver's Wall can come through and absolutely dominate. I would be surprised if Grim Legion does not respect either of these two champions and they end up in a position where they're maybe too far forward, they're just not in the right spot, or they get locked out of a certain objective. And as a result, we may see Dynasty pick something up.
That could definitely be the case. We'll keep an eye on how it develops throughout the game. I want to go through some lane by lane matchups, though, go a little bit more in depth to how I expect this game at least to work out. We already talked a little bit about the top side, the Aatrox really wanting to get his ultimate in. However, Rek'Sai, if you can get this Aatrox ahead, get him an early, item, a Black Cleaver before, maybe level 6 to 8, he can start demolishing Riven. And Riven, when she's behind, really doesn't offer anything. She has a small amount of CC, and she has enough mobility to get away. But if she isn't pressuring the lane, she essentially just falls off the face of the rift. So if Velvet decides to put any attention into this top side and he's able to get Rat a decent 1 or 2 kill advantage, things can't start snowballing very quickly. And the same kind of goes for all of his lanes, really. I mean, the Talia, she isn't so much of a kill pressure lane as she just wants to get to 6 and then shove plus roam. But then the bot side, obviously you want to get Draven's cash-in stacks onto the Caitlyn. If you're able to get him just 1, that's literally all you need. Velvet has to come down, get Sapling 1 kill, and he says, okay, thanks for the carry. And he can go just, go top lane or go mid lane for the next 30 minutes and trust that there is nothing Haikea and Lachlan are going to be able to do.
I will have to say on counter that Grim Legion definitely has the potential to make the moves here. Like I said, there's that short window for Dynasty, so there's a lot of potential for Grim to just scale through and through all the way to the end. Riven, of course, is a great duelist. Jarvan will always have consistent pressure. I mean, either way, whether it's in the lane or in the team fight, the lockdown and pick potential of this champion can be absolutely absurd. And if you really want to talk about lockdown, Lux in that mid lane, there can be quite a few moments that we may just see someone disappear off the map in a few seconds flat with the Lux. And of course, this bot lane, it is a rough slope. They have to really trudge through quite the difficulty with that Draven Morgana. But if they can get through it, like you said earlier with the siege potential, Caitlyn and Nahus can just become such an oppressive lane to go against, and just an ADC that just absolutely dominates through the scaling potential. Caitlyn's range, Caitlyn's traps, Caitlyn's just absolute control over each of these lanes can become so absurd. So I'm curious to see if Grim Legion is going to be able to stick it through and be able to handle what Dynasty throws at them. And if they are, I'm pretty sure with good control, good pacing, they can finish out this series.
Absolutely. And Freezeman probably going to be one of the most important champions of the game, whether or not that Black Shield can be on point. But we'll see how they actually play this one out.
Yeah, we're going to go to a short spectator delay. We'll be right back with y'all, so stay tuned. All right, welcome back. Getting in hot here of Grim Legion Esports versus Dynasty Esports. Going to be taking a look at how these two teams pan out. But other than that, I do want to give a quick notification to everyone who is watching ABL 1 right now. We would love, appreciate, and support anyone who comes through with that subscribe, who comes through with the donation, and any follower we appreciate so much. It goes straight to the production team and helps us out immensely. Other than that, it looks like Dynasty is going quite for a hard setup here. Morgana misses the binding. It's not going to happen.
Unfortunate, not able to hit that one. Khan, very slippery on that Riven, just uses the Q to dash away. I do want to talk a little bit about, though, in the bottom lane, we see double stopwatch coming out from Sapling as Friesman. Sapling opting for the Kleptomancy build. I think he realizes that he's not going to get a lot of early kills onto the incredibly far-ranged Caitlyn and tanky Nautilus. So instead, he's just going to go the Klepto route and try to farm up his gold that way. Every time Nautilus walks up for a Targon stack, just hits him with the Q auto attack and starts to accumulate gold that way.
I'm curious to see how that's going to play out because, of course, that's going to build into a lot of the strength of Draven, even if he isn't cashing in on those Adoration stacks. You know, later, if he doesn't pick up those early kills, he still has the potential to really accumulate some power, even if it doesn't quite work out for him in lane.
I would also like to mention that during that level 1 invade from Dynasty, it was Grim Esports that took the advantage, went in and put a ward over the wall in the blue side jungle of Velvet. And although they didn't spot him out specifically, they did see Sapling and Friesman walk right by the blue buff 2 lane, so they will know that he's starting on the top side.
And quite a common start, even though it is very efficient and appropriate for these two teams to, of course, have that information to their advantage. The red start is absolutely so dominant currently in the current meta, especially with just the absolute insane XP you gain from clearing those raptors and clearing those Krugs efficiently.
That it will. Almost hit the hook there as Lachlan goes hunting. They hit the level 2 first, which is why they were looking for the engage. If you can land that hook when Friesman doesn't have the black shield, that's an instant Caitlyn trap, blows up Sapling, probably loses a good 2/3 of his health just from that combo.
I'll say it didn't happen, though, so he's in quite a good spot, but Caitlyn is getting a consistent and good free poke out here a little bit along the ways, especially as we see those auto attacks come through as Sapling was backing off there. So I'm curious to see how that range advantage is going to play out in this lane as we keep looking forward.
All right. As we see, kind of taking stock of this early game, nothing too crazy has happened this early on. We do see Cruz getting very low on his early clear. Opted for a full first clear and is probably going to go for this scuttle as it spawned, but invested a lot of his health and mana into doing so, so he is not going to be in position for a gank.
Ooh. Good hit from Rat here.
Rat is under the tower. If Rat was a little healthier, this could be very bad.
Not quite going to sit up there. But we do see Cruz Illogic is in the position there, and it does look like Rat is making the move to make sure he does not get that back.
Velvet, though.
Spot out.
Velvet is looking for something down here in the spot side.
Now, it does depend completely on Friesman to come through with the cube there, so as of course, Velvet is going to back off, doesn't have that potential.
Yep, and at least he showed up, you know, just went down there in case Friesman was able to land a binding or this bottom lane got aggressive.
Good Q there. Binding does not hit. Friesman is able to get out, surprisingly.
And that's the power of the Black Shield. You know, even if that hook hits, the Black Shield prevents the stun from the auto attack to follow up on that CC.
Oh, look at this. You were talking about Velvet just a second ago. We do see the knockup in the back as Ryan is going to get caught out here. Q comes through as Velvet. Does not get the knockup, but I think the barrier isn't going to be enough to save him. He flashes forward and gets that first blood. Ooh, turn our attention to the bot lane real quick. Sapling coming through with the Ignite. Going to catch it, Ash, throw it back. Get the CC through. Lachlan flashing forward here to get the last little bit of damage. Ooh, Q comes through from Ikea. Not quite going to be finishing enough with the damage. Friesman and Sapling trying to get out here. Cruz going to see if he's going to come through with the flag and drag. Flash comes out from Freeze to get out.
Yeah, good turnaround there by Grim Esports. Able to trade back a lot of damage. And then Cruz coming in, just showing his face, forced the flash out of Friesman. That is both the flash and Sapling's heal down now. So that is a very good lane to return game.
Quite impressive, I will say. We were looking for early game. I do love the fact that Grim is pushing their potential power that they have here. They know Dynasty hasn't hit 6 yet, so they're making it happen. Speaking of making it happen, Velvet is in such a great position for Con top here. We see the knock-up Q. Con coming away, going to be able to get out just fine. Velvet just sitting, waiting here. Oh, he's coming through in the back line. He does hit the Q. Now we're looking to see if Con's going to be able to get out. Stun happens. Velvet's going to take a turret shot there.
Yeah, beautiful flank there by Velvet, but it seemed like him and Rat just weren't on the same page. Rat had completely backed off to catch the minion wave when Velvet came over the wall. If he had just been a little bit further in position, they might have found something, but not going to happen this time around.
Not quite this time, but I will say, just given how Rat is handling this right now against Con, we may see something come about here in the top side again here soon. I will say we are already seeing Cruz starting the path up wave.
And we talked about how if Rat got an advantage, he could really snowball this lane. And even though Velvet didn't come up here, he still got a 10 CS lead this early on. It was just almost 20 a moment ago. It'll probably be more once he gets back to lane. Doesn't even decide to burn the teleport, so he'll have that advantage as well. But Rat doing very well for himself is Dynasty, you're going to grab a plate on the spot side.
Yeah, bot side. Dynasty pushing in here even after quite the aggressive setup that Grim pulled out here. Ooh, great black shield from Friesman prevents the hook from going awry.
Once again, that's the power of Draven and Morgana. It allows Draven to be so much more aggressive against these heavy CC lanes because he can trust that Friesman will land that black shield and that Lachlan won't be able to actually engage.
You know, and there's so much trust you have to have in your support. Yeah. I'm so impressed with Dynasty right now. I mean, it's crazy how split second that was.
Doesn't come down one time, Sapling is gone.
Oh, gosh. Nothing quite set up just yet in that lane, though. Going to be looking maybe seeing initiative, especially these two teams hit 6, but up in the top lane, seeing the stun come through, Rat possibly looking for the pullback. Not quite.
Yeah, Rat pretty far ahead right now.
Not far ahead enough. Goes through the stun, but just look at that poke back at him. Not quite gonna hit that.
Wasn't even with Conqueror. Rat did not proc until the last attack.
Draven's gonna get hit by the hook here by Lachlan. Now he has to make his way out. Flag and drag coming from Cruz. Morgana gonna see if he can save it. Not quite. It looks like Friesman's actually going to be the one here who goes down as we see Draven coming so strong. Yeah, TP coming with Weaver's Wall as well. Now we're seeing Drak coming here with a World Ender. Keithler's taking a lot of damage, but Rat has coming through with the ADC slain. Rooted comes through for Keithler. Is going to be able to get out, but the burn just does so much damage as Sapling cleans up.
And it was Grim eSports. They went so hard in on Sapling. They wanted to
wait a second here. Velvet now knows where Rye is. The ultimate is going to come through the launch forward here. Now the damage is just going to keep piling on. Velvet does pick up the... beautiful Draven ultimate to get that last little bit of damage as Velvet picks her off.
And this is what I was talking about. Once the level 6s come through, it is so easy for Dynasty to just blow this game wide open. As you can see here in the replay, Lachlan, they go so hard in out of this Draven, but they have no vision on the rest of the team. Talia is missing, Rek'Sai is missing. They're just a moment away in the jungle. So Talia is able to get a great Weaver's Wall off, locks them in, teleport in from Rat, uses the ultimate World Ender, gets the reset, and it's just all over from there. Those ultimates are so powerful that it is so easy for Dynasty to win these early team fights in this mid game. And then off the backhand, they were able to pick off, I believe it was Khan in the jungle. No, it was the Lux.
No, it was the, Ryan trying to get out there, and actually good pairing with Draven's ultimate coming through those Whirling Death. Just absolutely just finished it off so perfectly. Ooh, Kessler going to get rooted here. Not quite. The knockback, though, does so much damage. That's what happens when you play a bit too aggressively against the Talia.
And this is a Dark Harvest Talia. She is very strong right now, has the early kill, will continue to burst throughout the game. Anytime a Seismic Shove lands, you have to fear for your life.
Talk about fear for your life. Ooh, Quiet Trace here. Cruz is not going to be able to engage. Wait, switch our attention to the bot lane. A root is coming through on Ikea, able to pick that one up, and now we see Sapling just laying out the damage as he takes out Lachlan here as well. Now, switch our attention to the top lane. Cruz is going to have a problem getting out as Rat and Velvet finish him off as well. That is a double kill for Rat, actually.
My God, Dynasty Esports own the map right now. They get to play bottom lane. Unfortunately, Friesman mistimes that black shield, so he ends up going down. But they get Sapling a double kill.
Hold on here. Mid lane, right hand is on the opposite side here. Minion block.
He might have actually got the kill if he was not stuck with the minions, but the whirling death. Draven?
Not quite on the right spot there. So close.
Maybe on the way back? Nope.
Nah.
Almost. Sapling, though, actually has to run. If Lachlan gets in range.
Ooh, Lachlan does get the pull back on him. Now he's rooted. Caitlin's going to be laying out this damage as he tries to get away. The axes are coming through, but it's not quite enough. The root with the trap. Ooh,
here goes Friesman.
Stopwatch. Friesman's coming in to save the day, just maybe. Ace in the hole comes through as Kessler comes in this backline, and the damage is coming through hot. Kessler finishing him up. 1 down, 2 down. We see Sapling take it. Oh, turn our attention to the top lane real quick. Bevlet and Rat going for a hard chase on Khan here. Q is coming through. Rat not going to let it go as he picks it up with World Ender and Q.
All right, we gave Dynasty Esports a small window. They have taken it. We gave them an inch. They took it 10 miles. They have blown up. You saw the second they got those ultimates, the entire map was their oyster, and they have made full use of it. Now, with a 8,000 gold lead. And we're going to take another look at this bottom lane. Draven able to buy so much time with the stopwatch that Morgana is able to come through. Talia joins with the Weaver's Wall. This is so powerful, the roaming potential out of that Talia, and then they're able to turn the fight, even giving Sapling the cash in at the end of it. And then Rat grabbing one on the top side. Just all over the map, they are winning this game.
So incredible how Friesman and Kessler both came in at such an appropriate time and moment. Without that, there could have been such a haywire turn in events for Grim Legion here, but at 4-0, Draven apparently says otherwise.
Yeah, and things are looking so desperate here for Grim Esports. For the siege comp they have put together, they really need to be ahead. The enemy team has to be afraid to walk into your siege. That's not going to happen with a 4-0 Draven.
Ooh, Friesman is going to get pulled back here by Lachlan. The root is coming through. It looks like he will be able to get away, especially since Dynasty has stepped up, ready to attack if they come through.
That was a very big headshot. Now Ocean Drake is on the table, and you can see Dynasty Esports, they don't care about walking into a Caitlyn
Oh,
trap.
wait, we got an attempt up here on Khan with Brat. Looks like we do see Sapling in this backside. They have to back up here, especially since this dragon is coming through.
Yep, and control right now is
Ooh, going straight in, Khan straight deep on this backline. They're looking for Draven. He does get the knockup from the Nautilus, but he's over the wall just laying out the damage. Cruz comes through with the ultimate on the net, but it's not enough as Sapling is just laying out the damage through and through. Velvet now on the side here, just absolutely laying through with the execute damage. Rat coming through with the knockup. Lachlan is taken out for a double kill on Sapling. Now they're looking to chase as much as they can. Chesler coming through. Ooh, Blast Cone just barely getting them out there.
And Dynasty Esports are so strong. Grim, they seem like they're just getting desperate. They know this game is slipping away from them, but the way they're trying to get back into the game is by picking fight after fight. You don't want to do that. Sapling right now is sitting 4,000 gold ahead. Look how much damage he does.
I know, Sapling just laying out damage. That's another way. Ikea picked up way too far. Oh, Sapling goes down as a result of the turret, but that step up so quickly, the capitalization from Sapling.
All right, so a little bit of overstep there. Gives 700 gold back to the Caitlyn. But the lead is still bad. It's still a 4,000 gold lead for Sapling over the Caitlyn. Has an entire item advantage.
And during all that, we did see Velvet solo pick up another Ocean Drake for Dynasty, so the objective control, the favor is kind of absurd. Ooh, looking at Velvet here. He does go under the knockup coming through for Lachlan. Lachlan trying to get out. He does hook away, but the assassination is coming through no matter what. Velvet picks up another kill. Ikea's not able to get there in time.
You can see how confident they are. Velvet has no allies in the area. Kessler was channeling a recall right there. The rest of his team was coming back from base, and he had no vision on anybody except for Khan. But he still is so confident that his team is that far ahead that he goes in on a tanky Nautilus in a blind jungle and walks away from it.
Ooh, Khan's gonna walk straight into this bush here. Sapling laying out the seas. That is 3 axes. 3 axes right there. Sapling just bursts him down instantly.
8, 1, and 3 on this Draven, sitting on almost 10,000 gold. The next closest would be Velvet, who is on 8,000. He is 2,000 gold ahead of anybody in the game.
It's absolutely absurd. Completed IE, completed BT by 15 minutes. Just the damage is crazy at this point. Ooh, and Grim Legion is forced to back up. They do not have a choice right now.
And you gotta start thinking, what can Grim Legion even do to come back into this game? You would want to rely on this siege potential. Lay down these Caitlyn traps, these Lux stairs here. Enemies can't walk forward.
Ooh, knockback on Rye here. He is going to go down as Kessler gets the pickup. Now we do see Rat in this backline going hard with World Ender. Friesman comes in through the side. The chains are coming through. Cruz has to flash the away. Now we see Weaver's Wall coming in this backline as Lock and picks up a double kill. That's going to be another kill as we do see our Draven step up and pick off Ikea. Now we're looking as Khan is just barely trying to get away, but the collapse is coming through no matter what. Flash. Oh, he is able to Q just barely out of the way and dodges the knockback. Rat gets a knockup though. Doesn't want to progress fully under this turret, but the pressure is there.
And this is what I'm talking about. Dynasty don't care about walking through a jungle with Caitlyn traps and Lux bindings and Nautilus hooks because the enemy team doesn't do any damage. They are so ridiculously far ahead that Grim Esports composition just doesn't do anything it's supposed to. And Dynasty Esports are making full use of their advantage.
Ooh, Rat coming around the backside here, right onto Ryan. Their air gonna get pulled up. He does go through the full slam on the Q as Lachlan comes through. Velvet just absolutely shreds through. Draven coming through with the Cataclysm, gets pulled down so quickly. The assassination in this backline. Turret is gonna pick him off as Ikea comes through. Ooh, missed ultimate final spark, not quite hitting Rat there.
And it just seems like too tall of a task here for Grim Esports. They're able to get another shutdown onto the Caitlyn, which is nice. But I just don't think it'll be enough. A 17,000 gold advantage at 17 minutes. They are averaging 1,000 gold lead per minute. This is probably one of the biggest dominations we have seen in the ABL so far this season.
At this point, I gotta ask, Otto, do you think Grim Legion can even pull this one back together, or we just gotta look for game 2 and see a different change in their attitude?
You have to look for game 2. I mean, for Dynasty Esports to throw this one away, it would have to be just that. They would have to throw it away. I don't think there is anything that Grim Esports themselves can do to bring this one back. You are completely reliant on like a 5-man dive into the fountain, giving all the shutdowns onto the Caitlyn. I think that is the extreme that we have to look to here. And Dynasty Esports, they just played a 3-game series. They don't look like they are exhausted at all.
Yeah, Dynasty Esports coming out hot on the iron here, just absolutely shredding through what Grim Legion has to offer.
Now we see them just continuously pushing up in the mid lane. They've broken the base, and the Baron's not even
speaking of pushing up in the mid lane, Kessler coming in the back here, not going to get the knockback as Rye comes through, but the assassination does come through as Velvet just rips through his back line. Cruz now has to get away. He's taken too low. Kessler knows he can just shred through him if he's got the chance.
And this is a Draven, a Dark Harvest Talia, and a Rek'Sai. You do not get much more snowbally than this.
Ooh, this tower's going down. The binding comes through from Friesman. The knockup with Velvet. He just absolutely rips through with the damage.
I feel like a broken record here. I don't know how much more I can say that Dynasty are just completely running away with this game. I think this one is all but over. They might even look to just end it before 20 minutes.
Ooh, and they definitely have the potential here. These turrets are coming down. Flag and drag potential not quite ready. Ooh, they look to turn to this top side inhib. Ooh, good knockup. Ryan does get pulled back. Rat is going forward for the big chunk of damage. Does not go for the finish, though. Oh, he is going to get pulled. World Ender now comes through as we do see a double knockup with slapping coming through. Just the damage. Cataclysm left in place for a second there, but Draven rips. This is probably it. We do see slapping. Oh, he comes through with the flash for a triple kill. Now he's looking to see how he can finish it. Possibly the Pentacon. There's the Quadra. And now he's possibly looking to finish this game off once and for all. Is Dynasty going to do it? The Pentakill is there. Friesman and Rat are both lining up. We see Ikea just taking the... Oh! Like you said, the fountain damage.
I did say if they don't fountain against the Caitlyn.
Oh, the pullback doesn't come through. We do see the hook with Rat. He's going to get slammed back here. Sapling just wants this so hard. We're going to see the knockup, and he is the shutdown, but that's not going to be enough as Dynasty crushes through game 1.
And Dynasty eSports, I take it back. They are tired. They've been playing they just played a 3-game series against Polar Ace. They don't want to waste any time here. They are going to pack this one up as fast as they can. And a 20-minute end to game 1, you don't get much more of an impressive showing than that.
And I gotta say, the mental of Grim Legion right now, it's gotta be a question. Going 0-2 in their first game today, coming up against Dynasty, who, like you said, is tired. They hit those 3 games. They know what they're about to deal with, and they just can't even come close in that game 1. And it's gotta be an issue, and you have to wonder, in this next upcoming game 2, can they pull through?
If you are Grim Esports, you have to reset. Completely forget about that game 1. The thing about these snowballing compositions is they are very hard to pull off. But if you do get the snowball rolling, if you do get the massive advantage that Dynasty had, they are almost impossible to stop. So you just shore up your early game and you don't give a 5,000 advantage over, and that game looks extremely different.
I will say, though, we are going to take a short break here as we see what these two teams have to offer as we go into a game 2. We'll be right back, so stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're going to be getting into game 2 here soon of Grim Legion eSports versus Dynasty eSports. Dynasty had such a hot, fiery blow on this incredible series already, taking game 1 so hard within just 20 minutes. The Baron buff hadn't even had such a great influence. Grim Legion has to bring it back here into game 2 if they even want to see the series to the end.
Yeah, I would have to double check, but I am fairly confident that was the fastest game we have had all season. Might even be the fastest game in the history of the ABL. That was complete and utter domination there by Dynasty eSports. They dismantled Grim Legion. But if you are Grim Legion, you have to reset. Like we said before the break, put that game out of your mind. It was a huge snowball, an avalanche even, from a Draven, from a Rek'Sai, from a Dark Harvest Talia. If you don't give that huge advantage over early, things start to look different. They just have to shore up some of their play in the early game, and they have a fighting chance.
I feel like we talked a lot about Dynasty with that short window and capitalizing, and we saw an incredible team fight in the bot lane. We saw the teleport, Kessler coming down, Weaver's Wall, everything just turned out perfectly for what Dynasty was accruing for, how they wanted to play it out. Grim Legion's overstepped and they capitalized. The bigger issue, though, more than Dynasty's proactivity and how they played through, was I believe Grim truly just continued to give is the word. They continued to give too much up to Dynasty. A kill here, a kill there, a pick here, and Dynasty just continued to accrue more and more gold, more and more objectives, more and more success towards their victory.
Yeah, and I think you made a good point. They kept giving over, and the way they did that was constantly looking for fights. When they started to fall behind, when they realized, hey guys, we're at a serious disadvantage, something needs to happen, their answer was, let's try to find picks on them. Let's keep fighting them. But the problem with that is, although you have a decent pick comp, you're trying to pick a Draven that has almost 3 items over you. That 2 shots your frontline tank. And so I definitely don't think that fighting into the composition was the answer, but they decided to go for it anyway. Didn't work out for them.
I have to ask, I do think Grim Legion, correct me if I'm wrong, the better option in my opinion was, yes, you lost the early, but what you really should have done is you try to slow the pace. You control the waves, you control the objectives, you don't let everything just give in so quickly. And as a result, you try to scale back up and put a lot of your success in some of those high scaling carries, such as, Caitlyn. A Riven can come through very strongly. The Jarvan can be absolutely dominant, especially with the Cataclysm through these team fights. I just think Grim Legion needed to take the time and just relax and just hold on. They didn't have to just give as much as they did, in my opinion. I do think they had a late game comp, a late game strategy, and it just didn't pull through.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think it really all came down to the vision as well. Dynasty eSports were able to get a very early hold on the entire jungle of Grim Legion. They had no clue where they were coming from, so it was hard to actually play safe because you're just getting constantly doped by the Rek'Sai, by the Talia behind with the Weaver's Wall. So really track Velvet around the map this time around. If you start to get down, you really need to start with the vision.
I will say, though, great talking about these two teams, but we are already past ban phase with these two teams. Talia, Aatrox, Morgana, Zed, Rengar, Yasuo, all picked through. I do love seeing that Grim Legion has picked off 3 of the potential targets from last game. Talia in the mid, Aatrox from the top, and Morgana as the support.
Yeah, they're just going straight at it, but they left the Draven open, which is very confusing to me. Sapling is very well known on this champion. It's been banned away from him a lot. Now it's going to be here with the Lulu. Lulu very similar to the Morgana, and you are allowing the Draven to play extremely aggressive with movement speed bonuses, heals, and shields. You don't get the CC invulnerability, but it's a similar lane. I wonder if they'll pick into it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they'll pick into. We already see the Kennen, which leads me to believe that Grim Legion is going for the team fight oriented kind of comp that they were running last time, or even split push, especially with Siege comp. Now that I see the Caitlyn being picked out, they do have that poke potential and the hold down if they use these two wisely. But I'm curious to wonder, like you said, Grim Legion apparently going through with the reset. They know that Caitlyn didn't quite come out on top last time, but they are happy to pick it again and see if they can win a better result.
Yeah, this tells me that they have faith in their composition and in their team, and they thought last game was just a fluke. Hey, we just accidentally gave over too much early game and it snowballed out of control. This time, if we play a little bit better, the comp that we love to run can shine. We know we can make it work. And they're going to pick up the Sejuani along with it. Remember, a lot of the bans went to the jungle last time around. Olaf, Sejuani, the Jarvan was picked away. So now we get to see some of those picks coming through.
I will say Sejuani is coming through for Grim Legion, but a response up in the top lane, the absolutely dominating, crazy, and almost annoying, in my opinion, Vladimir.
Yep, can be flexed to the mid or top lane. Does take a lot longer to get online than something like the Talia. You don't just hit 6 and automatically be able to impact the map extremely well. You do have to get some items under your belt. So we might see Dynasty eSports slow down the pace a little bit. But then again, they also have just given themselves a late game win condition. They don't need to snowball through the Draven, through an Aatrox anymore. Their window is much larger.
So yeah, like you said, the window is much larger. So we're going to be seeing if Dynasty can maybe utilize that to their advantage, but it does give a little bit of a hold back to Grim Legion here. If the window is larger, that means you also have more of a time to see what you can capitalize on as well. You know that Dynasty is going to be looking for their picks, looking for their objectives, looking for these comps. If you just plan proactively, you will have the time to make a change happen. But other than that, we do see Dynasty finish off their bans with the Irelia and Lux, and it does look like Grim Legion is going to be going with the Olaf, and we're going to be looking to see and get a check on what this ban is real quick. It is in fact a Rek'Sai, yes. Looks like they don't want to deal with that pressure this time.
Just a pro draft issue, not showing that ban. Velvet going to be picking up the Kindred this time around. They are definitely going a little bit harder on scaling. I'm actually not a huge fan of this because I think if you pick a Draven lane, if you're going to 6 Snap Lane and Freezeman in that hyper-aggressive matchup, then you need to pick a jungler that can do exactly what Velvet did last time, constantly dive. The Jarvan is still up. You still see, the Rek'Sai unfortunately was banned away. Blitzcrank, though.
I'm curious to see how this is going to play out in the bottom lane especially. So Nautilus is a strong pick, and it works a lot better in my opinion team fights, but Blitz, just the sheer pressure. I'm excited. I'm excited. Kiana, like I said, can be so good. I'm curious to see if this will be a game where they get to show this off with Grim Legion. I pray. Kiana has so much potential if you utilize the dashes correctly. If you pick up the right elements, there's so much potential damage, so much upheave that you can display with that supreme talent ability.
This is not a Lulu support.
No.
We are going to see most likely a Lulu mid lane. Probably going against the Kennen mid? Alright, so now that I look at this composition, I get more and more confused the more that I actually see what has been picked up. I believe we are going to see a Sejuani top, Kiana jungle, Kennen mid, Caitlyn Blitzcrank bottom lane, going against a Vladimir or Lulu top, Kindred jungle, the Vladimir or Lulu mid, and then Draven and Braum bottom lane?
Okay. So you've given me your rundown. I'll see if I can tackle this one myself. Of course, I do think from Grim Legion eSports, it would be a shame not to capitalize with Caitlyn Blitz in the bot lane, Sedge jungle, Kiana mid, and then Slam Kennen in the top side. Right? Very standardized role.
That could be another option. Kiana has had most of her success as a jungler, so they can be playing her into the mid lane. Not sure what it's going to be going against, whether it's going to be the Lulu or the Vladimir, but once again, like we talked about earlier, Kiana only came out on the 28th. That is just, I believe, 1 week ago? No. 5 days ago. So only 5 days to practice this champion. We'll see what Grim Legion are able to actually do on it. But I think they realize that they are backs against the wall here, and they are definitely pulling out all the stops.
I'm curious to see. I'll eat my shorts if Kiana's not in the mid lane. I'd be surprised to see Cruz running this. I'm excited to see how it plays out other than that. But I will say, even though it is a short pick and there is such a short time period between now and when it has come out, I want to just bring up First Blood Marauders. They played through with the Kiana in one of their most recent games through the mid lane. And it was absolutely incredible to see just the oppression and skill come out of this champion. There's so many things that can come alive with just the broken potential. And it does look like Kennen is going to be rocking straight into that top lane. So,
yeah, most likely going to be what you predicted. Then the kind of the top, Sejuani jungle, Kiana mid, and then we'll see Caitlyn and the Blitzcrank in the bottom side. Dynasty going for Lulu in the top side.
Lulu top side, like he said right there.
Yordle v Yordle.
Yordle v Yordle. Curious to see.
35%
chance to miss. 35% chance to miss with 3 Yordles there.
I think they are missing 1 Yordle. They only have the Lulu and the Kindred. And Kindred's not even a Yordle, so they only have 1 Yordle.
I don't think anyone has the Yordle buff this time.
But if they put a Spear of Sojin on Lulu, she's going to be incredibly strong.
Yeah, absolutely. The passive ultimates coming through can be so oppressive. But other than that, I do want to talk about how crazy this Vladimir and Lulu are going to be as a whole in this gameplay, especially with how they flex as a whole and can become so supportive to this team comp, especially running with the Draven.
Yeah, so where I see Dynasty doing with this composition is really just trying to pour all of their resources into this bottom side. You pick a Vladimir in the mid lane who is pretty safe, has a Sanguine Pool, isn't too worried about getting blown up by the Kiana because he has that safety. Put Lulu on the top side, similar situation. She's pretty safe, doesn't have a lot of kill pressure, but shouldn't fall too far behind in lane. And then you just send everybody bot. Draven is your resource draining champion. You want to get him ahead. You saw what Sambley can do when he has an advantage. So you pick safe lanes and then just send Velvet to the bot side of the map over and over again. Take a camp, go bot lane. Take another camp, go bot lane. Steal a camp, go bot lane again.
I'm curious to see, especially since Velvet has shown just with sheer pressure, sheer pathing, and sheer just absolutely elementary proactiveness, he can make his way around this map and just come through so clean in each of these lanes individually. We saw it in the top side, we saw it in the mid, and of course in the bot last game. So Kindred is going to be something to watch out for as a whole. But looking at these comps more specifically, like you said last time, I'm going to steal it from you. Let's get a look at each of these individual matchups as we go through these individual roles.
Yeah, so we actually saw the Vladimir switch up to the top side against the Kennen. So it's going to be a little bit more standard, something we've actually seen before. The same theory goes, though. Kennen is going to have the advantage early, but Vladimir is still a pretty safe champion. This time, though, it's melee into range, so I would be not surprised to see Kennen take the Kleptomancy in the top side and just try to farm gold off the Vladimir because he knows he probably can't get any all-in kills because of the Sanguine Pool. But Vladimir later on in the game is going to snowball or is going to scale incredibly well, so he'll be a large threat in these 5v5 team fights. In the jungle, Sejuani, much better early ganker than the Kindred, will be able to impact these maps or impact these lanes much more efficiently. Kindred, again, though, is going to scale up incredibly well and will do lots of damage later on. The mid lane, I can't analyze this. You actually seem to know a little bit more about Kiana than I do, so break this one down.
Let me tell you. All right. I'm very excited, but it's going to be a shame, especially since Kessler has shown he does have a certain prominence in holding these lanes out. So while Kiana, of course, is going to be really looking to get off a lot of the oppressive damage she can have, especially since with every single time she dashes, she's going to get a reset on that Q, so you can line up a lot of oppressive damage, just relay it back and forth. But Lulu, of course, has the polymorph coming through in the shields, and I do think, like you said, we're going to see more of a setup where these lanes just stay a bit more safe from the side of Dynasty, are then going to be pushing their lead elsewhere. But I'm curious to see if Qiyana, especially with the help of Cruz on their side of Grim Legion, can push forward and get that early damage off and just kind of snowball this champion, especially since in any objective, Qiyana can be so extreme with her supreme talent ability that just absolutely stuns and just crushes everything.
Absolutely. The ultimate is probably one of the strongest in the game for team fighting from what I've heard, mainly because of the fact that you cannot by any means dodge it once you are caught in it. It doesn't matter if you QSS, doesn't matter if you cleanse, you can't flash out of it because it's just constantly pushing you backwards. I think you can flash out of it, maybe. I would have to actually get confirmation on that. But even if you QSS, because it actually pushes you back every single tick, you will just get caught up in the CC on the next tick. So you will be pushed back. You will be hit into the wall. You will be stunned. So very strong in team fights. However, like you said, the Lulu, very safe. And Qiyana also doesn't have access to as many elements there in the mid lane because the river is blocked off by the brush. She has to walk a lot further to get access to the water element than she would have to in the top bot or in the jungle.
Other than that, though, this bot lane, of course, is going to be the thing to watch from both sides here. Maybe IKEA can come back from Grim Legion and pull something together for his team, or we're going to see an absolutely oppressive Draven again. Either way, spectator delay is over, so we're going to be taking a short break as we set up everything here. So stay tuned as we see these two teams duke it out in Game 2. All right, welcome back. Hot into Dynasty eSports versus Grim Legion eSports here. Gotta see if Dynasty's gonna finish this just as strong as Game 1, or is Grim Legion gonna pull it together, hold out, and take us to a Game 3?
That is the question. Dynasty eSports was confirmed. That was the fastest game of Season 7 by a landslide, 20 minutes and around 30 seconds for them in Game 1. And it was off the back of Sapling on the Draven, completely dominated. So we'll see if they can replicate it this time around. They have a lot more scaling on their composition. You see
yeah, I know. This is interesting here to see these two teams set up 5 men all together. They know the Blitzcrank can be such a power play in this early gank, early rush in there. So curious to see how that played through.
Yeah, it looked like they were more expecting an invade into the top side and were getting ready for it. Thinking maybe Cruz would go and try to steal that red buff. But nothing happens. A lot of defensive vision placed down by Dynasty. They have a ward in the top tri-bush, in the bottom or the top river, and on their blue buff, so they can see exactly if anybody invades. That means they're gonna have a lack of vision early on for their laners, though.
I will say that's something you can capitalize on with Cruz here. I don't think Sejuani can really hit too hard forward with that early game ganks. It does have its potential if you do see someone from Dynasty quite possibly in the wrong position or just stepped out incorrectly. But it is something we do have to watch out for, as each of these lanes has lost a little bit. But like you said, Velvet capitalizing off knowing just a little bit of information, going straight for that blue buff.
Yeah, absolutely. He didn't even know where Cruz started. I think he was just the information of the laner showing up a little late. He's assuming that Sejuani started on red side, so he's trying to steal the blue buff and the Gromp, actually taking a lot away from Cruz. Lachlan, he's looking.
Not quite going to be able to step up there. Braum does a great job of just de-escalating so much pressure. Ooh, Ryan getting a bit of damage, but Lulu capitalizing, taking it down to half health just in return.
Velvet, he might be looking for something. Rat falls a little bit low. I'm not sure if they're going to pull the trigger on this one. Khan should have the E now, so should be able to get
not
away.
Not quite. Velvet definitely looking to get out of there.
Let's talk a little bit more about this mid matchup, because early on, Kessler's going to have a very large advantage. Lulu, a lot of early base damage, doesn't need items to really put down the poke. And Yushishi started with a longsword, trying to really abuse this melee versus ranged matchup with an auto attack every time the Kiana goes up the farm.
I will say it's understandable. You know the Kiana thought that this was going to happen, as the Corrupting Potion, of course, the starting choice. He knows the range matchup can be very present, but look at this. Kessler already capitalizing off knowing where the Sejuani is. The red side is not going to be something that Sej can play off of here with that ward right in place. Oh, good hook from the side of Sapling. Friesman jumps forward to get the Unbreakable. The stun comes through as Ikaria is going to get ignited as well. Now we do see Cruz coming from the backside. Knockup coming through as Freeze looking to get away. Now Sapling's the one to ignite as the knockup comes through. Icon coming from the back to pick up first blood. Gonna get stunned by Friesman as he jumps away to save himself. Now gonna see both of these teams. Looks like they're backing off. Ooh, mid lane looks like there's an ignite coming through from Ryan. Goes over the wall with the flash. Kessler follows through, picking up another kill.
And we said Kessler was going to be the safe lane, but he solo kills the Kiana in the bot side. Very good turnaround there by both sides, actually. Friesman using that shield to keep Sapling safe, but they don't see Cruz coming in. They step a bit too far forward, and the early teleport from Khan to turn that one around. Rat was just a little bit late on his. Didn't quite see what happened. And in the end, in the bot side, it's going to be Grim Legion. And the mid, Kessler gets a kill back for Dynasty. But already we are seeing an improvement over game one for Grim.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Grim Legion's going to take this short lead and make an apparent change with it. They know that Dynasty doesn't have quite the same power now, and they know that they're not the unbreakable tyrant that they faced in game one. So I'm curious to see if they put a little bit of their step forward and try to come back in this game.
Yeah, and
Ryan dashing forward, gonna get the root on Kessler now. The damage is coming through. Ryan is getting just barely through. Q comes through with the ignite. Kessler is gonna burn out. That's a return kill in the mid lane now.
And that was crucial for the Kiana, getting that return kill, not falling too far behind by this Lulu. If Lulu starts to get ahead of you, she has so much just natural sustain and survivability that she can go full damage and just continue to blow you up, as you see Kessler going for the electrocute, probably going the AP route. Looks like maybe a gun or an AD route with the... I'm actually not sure what he's building. Is that a Gunblade?
Yeah. That's going to be turning into Gunblade. You're going to build in the bilge waters there and a path up for that.
I don't know. This is going to be such an interesting game to cast. It's hard to analyze it when we have a Lulu and Kiana facing off in the mid lane.
And it's not so much a support Lulu. Kessler is going so aggressive with it right now.
This isn't like we see Karma's in the top side, but she's building, you know, full tank Spirit Visage and then an Ardent Center. No, we're just going to see a Lulu walking around one-shotting people.
I'm curious to see how that'll play into Draven, though, because Lulu does, of course, have such a good ultimate, and the Polymorph can work so well if you play it through correctly. I mean, maybe I'm putting too many eggs in one basket here. Maybe I'm relying a little bit too much on Sapling. We could see Kessler pop off here and just be the absolute monster carry.
We could, and really any one of the members from Dynasty have the potential to carry this game. Vladimir and Kindred, extremely good late game. We see Kessler going the full AP build, and we saw what Sapling did last game.
Ooh, Cruz clearing out the ward there, gonna get spotted out, but Velvet is not quite in that position in the same way. Ooh, Root coming forward on Kessler here, gonna be able to get that ultimate off with the polymorph. Now Velvet stepping up to do the last little bit of damage. Kessler getting another kill.
Yeah, Kessler, the second one now on this Lulu, starting to get very strong. Assist there going to Velvet, attacking this mid lane. And perhaps Dynasty eSports, maybe we're wrong. Maybe the Draven Braum is a safe play. Maybe they just want to keep camping mid.
You know what? They're looking to farm up here, just kind of smooth their way into the mid game. Just rely on that carry. Ooh, we do see the ultimate up here on the top side from Rat. Can't capitalize quite yet off that, especially with Khan slicing Maelstrom up.
Yeah, he expected Khan to go a lot more aggressive there, so he popped the ultimate preemptively. But now Khan has ultimate and Rat does not. So if Rat ever burns the Sanguine Pool, you can guarantee Khan's going to go for an all-in and probably walk out with a kill.
I do think Rat has that concept in the mind, though, so we may not see quite the engage. I could be wrong, but I do want to talk about a good pathing here. Cruz making his way onto the spot side, possibly looking for a pickup here. But just look at how quick Dynasty backs off.
I think they may have spotted him doing either his Raptors or red buff. You see,
I'm sorry.
Starting to do some good damage. Went for the very early Hex Drinker.
Well, quite the play there. Kessler just going through here, gonna get the slow. Just
oh my goodness.
Absolute insane amount of burst. Lulu's an assassin, folks. That's all I can say.
Put a Youmuu's on that Lulu. Let her jump in the back line. Don't worry, there's going to be plenty of Teamfight Tactics references throughout this stream.
Ooh. I'm curious to see how Rai is going to be trying to play through this. He knows he's on the back foot now, but he does have potential. I'm waiting for Cruz to make a move here, but the vision play out of Dynasty is so good. He can't get a footing. They just knows every move. Cruz stepping up here, and he just gets autoed. Kessler says, not today, not this bush, it's my turf.
Normally, when you walk through the jungle and you find a support sitting by themselves, you're like, oh, thanks, a free kill. When you see Kessler playing a support and you find him in the jungle, you have to start running.
Oh, man, I'm curious to see this. I'm not giving too much on Rai just yet. He does definitely have that potential. Oh, the root comes through. It looks like Velvet is going to spot out. Slicing Maelstrom, just doing so much damage, taking him down all the way to 25%. Khan is going to burn
Velvet is a lot of damage,
close.
though.
Ooh, it looks like the ultimate coming through from Velvet, but Ryan is there to pick it up and go for the kill. But look at this engage here. The root coming through on Rat. Rai has to get out now. Ultimate from Vlad. Going to do so much damage with the E to pair with it. Not quite. We do see Lulu come in to save the Vlad here, just barely getting his health back up. Cruz is chasing down. Khan goes down as Kessler flashes in the back. Like, that's going to be a double kill. Now Cruz is going to have to get out of here before we see a triple. The burn is coming through. He goes under turret to finish off for an amazing triple of 5-1. Assassin Kessler on the Lulu.
And we see the Lulu pop off on the top side, 5-1. In the bottom half of the though, it is Ikea and Lachlan coming up big. So we are going to check out a replay here. So you can see just here in the bottom side. Actually, we're going to go straight into the top side. It is Kessler. He buys enough time for Kessler to join the fight, and everybody is so low. The Lulu ultimate getting so much health. Hang on, though.
Oh, Ikea goes down. Doesn't quite get too hard. Velvet is going down as well with him. Quite the aggressive teleport in this backside from Rat, though.
And they're not going to give us a chance to go over the replay. They
know.
just want full-on action. Dynasty eSports.
Look at Keller there. Just so aggressive in the step-up. Ryan throws out the grass Q just to get a little bit of speed out of there. Rat passed through.
Yeah, Rat just came to say hello. Hi, how's it going? How's your lane?
Well, his lane is going down. That's going to be a nice plating for Khan, I'll tell you that.
That it will. The Rat takes a little bit longer to come up to the top side. Khan might even get two. No, here comes Rat to clear out that wave.
Rat says, all right, you've had enough fun. Ooh, Lachlan getting the knockup on Friesman, but no Caitlyn to follow through. Ooh, big damage, though, from Sapling. Already taking him down almost half. Curious to see if that comes through to fruition there. Rye already stepping up by this dragon, though. They know it's going to be going down soon, but Velvet just has such control from Dynasty.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate, this looks so much better from Grim Legion. You haven't given over such a huge advantage. I think it was already 10,000 by this point last game. And a Draven with a 4,000 gold lead and a Draven with a 500 gold lead or whatever he has right now. I think he's actually at a deficit. He is about 700 gold down. They're two completely different champions.
I will say, though, it is not the same, but look at this. Velvet stepping up here on this bush. Ooh, good root there. Friesman taking the brunt of this force. Oh, the pull comes through from Sapling. Big damage from Blitzcrank. Not quite going to follow through with the knockup from Braum coming as Ikea is barely going to take it up. That slicing Maelstrom from Com comes just barely in. Sapling picks it up with the Grim Rinder, but he does get taken out as a result. Now the chase ensues as Friesman just barely isn't able to get away. Looks like it's going to go to Khan.
Great collapse there by Grim Legion. That's the second time now we have seen them be first to the play on the bot side. Hang on to Lulu.
No, not quite. Rye's taking a bit of damage. Oh, man. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, we saw Velvet down there spend a lot of time in the bush, and Sapling and Friesen looked like they wanted to bait them into the fight, but they took so much damage during the bait that they actually just got turned around on before Velvet could even join in. Then the immediate teleport by Khan, the roam over by Cruz. Lulu was able to stop Kiana from roaming down by just almost blowing her up in the jungle, but it was once again Grim Legion showing up to the bot lane play first.
I will say Rat on the back foot here in this top side. We're seeing so much pressure come out of Khan. He's not really able to respond. He picks up the turret plating as a result, but not quite able to capitalize. Oh, crazy damage on Sapling here. Ace in the hole is going to pick up a big chunk of that, but it's not going to be enough to finish as he heals just that last little bit with the combination from Bloodthirster.
That Bloodthirster coming in so clutch for the Draven there.
Ooh,
but Ikea is very strong. This is the Caitlyn he was looking to play in game one.
I have to say, other than that, though, great objective control from Velvet right now, picking up the Rift Herald. Whoops. Called Shelly too much.
That's her name.
It is her name.
It is
definitely okay. Speaking of names, Kessler's make a list of death. Rye and is just absolutely burning through. Cruz comes in his backline save. The Crow is saving barely the burn. So good. Kessler now just barely poking out as he's making the escape slowly. Cruz wants this. He needs the shutdown. Kindred on this backside is going to be there to save the day.
Why are we watching bot?
Oh, bot lane. Friesman taking so much damage. Oh, amazing stopwatch. Sapling is going to get knocked up, though. Now Caitlyn's looking to turn and chase this round. Oh, they look to Friesman, but Sapling can't get out either. They're going to pick up the ADC. Ikea, Grim Legion turning that bot in their favor.
And it seems like whatever advantage is gained in the mid lane, it is immediately lost in the bot side. Sapling just not having the same performance as game one. But Kessler is definitely picking up the slack. 6-1-0. Almost a 3,000 gold advantage just 15 minutes in.
I will say, though, we do have to remember that even though Kessler is performing so adequately right now and this team isn't quite matching up to that tone of pace, Lulu is not an assassin. As much as the damage is screaming otherwise right now, there is going to come a point. I think Kessler begs to differ. I do think Kessler begs to differ. I do think Kessler begs to differ, sitting there on a completed Hextech Gunblade and an Ashter's Tooth. But there's going to come a point late where you don't have that opportunity. And it's going to change the pace as you see someone like Kiana or Caitlyn come back with such high damage. At that point, you're going to be looking to rely on someone else from Dynasty.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Lulu's build is she's actually going this kind of on-hit style where she has some burst, but the Nashers with the attack speed, they're actually going to give her a lot of DPS.
Speaking of Kessler, just barely going to get out of that stun there. Goes for the auto on Cruz and gets out just barely. Ooh, Rift Herald in the bot lane now. Ooh, Gonna look to get that turret out of the way right now, but not quite the setup. We do have Khan in this backside, setting up. Ooh, Glacial Prison just barely misses, but the slow is coming through. Slaplin does get just barely slowed. The flash comes through from Lachlan as he comes through with the pull with the knockup. Glacial Maelstrom, and this back line just absolutely shreds through for a double kill with Khan.
And this bot lane has been so good.
Never mind! Look at that great stun to shut down for IKEA. The chase ensues as Rat is using that pull to get just barely away. Does not look like they're going to be able to follow up this one, but the dragon is completely theirs.
And bot lane is Grim Legion's home right now. Once again, it is Khan just rotating a little bit faster. The teleport comes in 2-3 seconds earlier. The rest of the team is willing to collapse. It feels like Dynasty eSports are just a little bit sluggish on these plays, and the numbers advantage means time and time again, Grim Legion are able to find these wins in the bot half of the map. They're just ignoring the Lulu, ignoring Rat in the top side, trying to feed as much gold as they can into IKEA.
Well, hold on. Yes, IKEA's got straight up an insane amount of gold, but that cannon is just so strong. 5-1 right now. Gonna be completing the Rabadon soon, apparently, and it's just gonna make for such an oppressive lane to just deal with as a whole.
Absolutely. He's going for that huge team fight build that we've already seen work for them.
Look at Khan. He's going to walk straight into this bush. The polymorph comes through with the wild growth.
And Draven got it!
Picks up the kill with Whirling Death. Just snags it. Just snags that little last bit. Ooh. Look in the mid lane. Oh, Lachlan just barely misses, but the setup is there with Friesman in this backside. The chase is ensuing as Rat is also for the collapse. Ooh, Cruz gets the knockup, but IKEA is in fact slowed, and such huge damage comes through from Rat as now he looks to launch straight on Lachlan. The East charging up, bursting through Sapling, just barely picking him off, and he pulls through with the kill. And now they're running through. Lamb's Respite comes out, actually.
That might have been an accident.
Ooh, Rat just barely taken low as Cruz looks to get away. Ooh, slow coming through from Braum. Not quite the stun everyone needs. Flash as a result. Now Dynasty looks to back off before anyone from Grim Legion can capitalize and collapse.
And Dynasty eSports finally find a good class for themselves. IKEA and Lachlan caught out of position there in the mid lane. That was a lot of damage from one Q.
Ooh, speaking of a lot of damage, Rye is going straight into Sapling here, looking to dash forward. The ultimate talent comes through the stun with Sapling, but now it's not enough. Rye has to look to get out as Rat just continues to collapse. The burn is coming through. The damage, the Q, the E, just the dash, the root, double root, but a small flash with the Q is able to get that just barely.
Kessler!
Kessler!
1v1 Khan. The carry v carry, and Kessler right now wins that one out. He's showing I can carry my team harder than you can carry yours. Both AP Yordles going at each other. Like there's a little bit of bad blood in that situation.
Can't focus on every incredible fight across this map going on at once, but we do know Dynasty does come out on top.
Absolutely does. Almost taking down that mid turret there. The Caitlyn and the Blitzcrank, so much seizing power with the Caitlyn headshots, plus the turret taking power of the Blitzcrank with that resolve tree.
This game can truly go either way right now. Both teams have their potential carries. They have their weaknesses. It's just who's going to capitalize and be the more proactive offenser.
Yeah, the one advantage here for Grim eSports is that all of the gold lead is on the Kessler. If you can get in a position where you can pick off that Lulu, all of a sudden you're no longer 2,000 gold down. You're probably 1,000 gold or two ahead. While the rest of Grim, their gold is much more spread around the map. They have slight advantages in every other lane except for that mid one.
Oh, looks like a turret is going to be picked up in the mid for Grim Legion. Now sitting even in both of these lanes. Going to be 2 for 2 right now. But it does look like we do see Rye up here in the top side. Going to be trying to rush this top turret down.
Yep, we're going to be looking to take that one down. Kiana grabbing a little bit of extra solo.
Ooh, Kessler engages hard.
That
just
headshot, though.
Barely able to get out.
The headshot was doing a lot of damage. That was Rat.
Barely able to come in here. A good slow. Lachlan pulls the Braum back, and the damage comes through as Khan is able to finish off. Glacial Prison misses. Cruz isn't able to engage as fully as they want. Grim Legion backs off, but with a great kill on Friesman.
Yeah, they grab a really nice pick there. I don't think they're going to be able to do anything with it, unfortunately.
Look at the mid lane. 1v1. Kessler coming just to barely save himself with the Polymorph, pushing him back with a great stun and Supreme Talent. But the damage from Draven just to barely take him down. It looks like Kessler, finishes him off with the Hex.
He almost got out. He had the flash there to get over the wall, but the gunblade from Lulu able to keep him from going away.
Knock up here onto Rat. Pull does come through. The heal is just not quite enough. Pool now looking to see if he can get away. Just barely the stun hits just the nice route there. Ikea gonna pick up another kill. Velvet and Friesman now for position. Con flashes forward and gets the Maelstrom in place. Double stun. Now they pull Kindred out of Lamb's Respite to get a double kill for Ikea.
So beautifully played there by Grim Esports. They get the shutdown on Vlad onto the Caitlyn. That was so important. And then forcing the Lamb's Respite and pulling Kindred out of it to secure another. Beautifully executed, and their reward is a double Infernal.
To think, Kessler moved topside to capitalize on the pushed in Kiana. And instantly, Grim Legion thinks, all right, this is what we're going to do. We know they don't have their strong carry. We know they don't have the champion, which they funneled all their gold onto. Let us capitalize and put some effort in, and they pick up 3 kills as a result.
They do, and now they are in the gold lead, even though Kessler is 8-2-1. Even though he is sitting 3,000 gold above the Kiana, it is Grim Legion who is in the driver's seat right now. 23 minutes in, Baron is on the table. They have at least survived longer than last game.
I have to say, I'm immensely impressed by the fortitude of Grim Legion right now. They've turned around everything that they've been hit with today. Every instance of their failures has been completely erased in preparation for this game as a whole. Their mentality is just so strong to be able to pull it together. Some teams would not be able to handle the fortitude that they've had to put up with today.
Absolutely. They lost 3 games in a row, going from an 0-2 series to coming straight back and losing a demoralizing game. The fastest win in Season 7 right now. And we said they have to reset. They have to erase that game from their mind. They have definitely done that. They are playing like they are just fresh off the week. Like this is their first game of the season even. And they're doing extremely well with, a Kiana mid. They're making that work, even though it has struggled a little bit. But really, the stars have been Ikea and Lachlan. They fell so far behind in game 1, but going against the almost same composition have found a massive lead.
I have to say, it's quite impressive. We came into this expecting Sapling to truly come back and dominate as hard as he did in this game 1 of series. But it's so impressive to see the bot lane shine out of Grim Legion, even after such an incredible and difficult play they had to deal with.
Yep, and we see now Lulu has picked up that Rage Blade, going full on for this AP on-hit style. Might have been playing a little bit of too much of teamfight tactics.
Quite the absurd comp there. Ooh, look at Khan here.
That's
Gonna
so
be
much
doing
damage.
so much damage. He's able to stopwatch off to just barely save himself, but it's not enough Rat Flashes for it to finish that off.
And I was surprised about how much damage Khan did. Rat said, hold my beer. I'm just going to 100-0 you. No problem. Sitting on the 3 items, the Death Cap, the Zanyas, and the Proto Belt.
Oh, look at this, though. Ahead. Speaking of our last instance, we do see this supreme display of talent come through to get a wonderful stun on Rat. He's going to try to pull away, but it's not enough. Now the stopwatch coming through. Rat. Oh, gets a good Q to heal himself off. Just barely. Rai is able to finish him with another Q. Oh, now we turn our attention looking at Kessler, possibly going to launch forward. No, it's Velvet onto Rai in this dot side. He's able to pick up just barely a kill.
Kessler, though, is taking the base.
Ooh, Ooh, now it's up to Grim Legion. They gotta respond. Khan is there to make sure that it doesn't go completely down, but Kessler is no one to be afraid of a fight. He's ready to take it all. He knows Slicing Maelstrom is down. He's going straight for the inhib. Khan's pressuring out. He's picking out those minions. Ooh, we just see Ace in the Hole coming straight through onto Kessler. Khan looks to launch forward now. Just barely Wild Growth is able to pick him off, and Khan is absolutely ripped through as Kessler takes him down. But now we do see Cruz come through with Glacial Prison. The inhib goes down, but the damage is done. Kessler proved how absurd he could be.
Velvet is getting very low here.
Dynasty has to back off this, maybe? Yeah, no, Rat!
Khan is not on the map. That's a huge amount of team fighting that they don't have available. But with Velvet falling so low, they still back up. They don't want him to just get blown up or have to use that Lantern fight very early. But in the top side of the map, we see Kessler flexing his dominance once again. Even though he's getting collapsed, 1v4, gets a kill and the inhibitor.
Grim, though, taking advantage of the reset they just did. They're going hard. They're going to go straight for Baron.
I don't think Dynasty knows this is going on.
Dynasty going straight for Dragon. They're making an impromptu incorrect trade. They're going to get it, but that's a Baron before.
Yeah, they do take away the triple Infernal, which honestly could be worth it depending on what Grim Legion is able to get with this Baron. If Dynasty can hold out, that is a definite win in that trade.
All right, though. Grim Legion stepping up here. Dravenall comes through to do a little bit of damage to the minions, but it's not going to be enough. They're pushing this
Rat is on a beautiful flank.
Ooh, Freezeman goes for it. He's going to get pulled out. Slicing Maelstrom in this backline. Lamb's Respite saving Velvet just barely. Rat now on the backside with the flay. Khan is going to get taken out by Kessler, and now Cruz has to flash out to get away. There's a good pull and kill from Ikea to pick off Rat now, though.
1 for 2 trade there so far.
Not quite. Just wait. Maybe.
Warthog sticking in.
Look at Sapling and Freezeman. They are on the hunt. They are looking for Cruz. They see him. Sapling gonna go for this as hard as he can. Oh! Just barely flexes through, but Freezeman is on the other side just waiting. Comes through with the Sun. Kessler and Sapling are waiting now. CC comes through onto Cruz. He's not gonna be able to get it. Freezeman just barely slow, and that's a kill for Sapling. Oh.
They're able to take out 2. They take the Baron off of Kennen and the Sejuani. I think they, even though they lost to themselves, they slowed down the push of the Baron. They diminished his potential by so much. I remember they also denied the triple Infernal. So I definitely think that was an advantage there for Dynasty eSports. They bought themselves a lot of time.
Dynasty eSports not going to be given too much to Grim Legion. Definitely want to see how they're going to be trying to play back into this game now. They're definitely right there, neck and neck, actually considerably with the gold lead. Only 500, I will say, though.
Yeah, gold lead, dead. Even the only difference is who it is put on top of. A vast majority of the gold lead, or of the gold of Dynasty, is on Kessler. So they are very invested into this one champion. The rest of them are doing very well. Rat specifically is not too far behind him. But the gold is much more evenly split between Grim eSports. So they are stronger as a 5-man unit, where the individual members of Dynasty are really who are shining.
I will say it is up to those individual members of Dynasty to come through and shine here as they wait for more of their potential carries to come online. And they're going to try to be waiting out Grim Legion, I would assume.
Right, we see everybody now back onto the map. Kiana finishing her second item, finally went for that Dustblade. Hasn't quite hit that Yomu's yet. Very late for a lethality build to be coming online, but at least she will finally start being able to do some damage.
Ooh, aggressive push in this mid lane by Grim Legion. Still looking to make use of that Baron buff, but they actually back off.
Yeah, they have to go answer this top lane push, double super minions. So they're going to have to reset. That's going to buy Dynasty some time to push out this mid wave and the bot side.
Ooh, looks like we're going to be seeing Rai be the answer to this bot lane push here. Kessler not quite moving just yet. Rat actually maybe making his way down here. Ooh, actually, all of Dynasty starting to make their way toward the spot side. Rat is going to be able just to get a little bit of damage on Ryan. Not quite, though. He goes through with the Hematray, dodges under turret. Q comes through with the knockback as the stun launches through, but the pool is just enough to get him out. No one goes down.
Such a clutch pool there. Might go down.
Glacial Prison misses from Cruz, but the chase still ensues. Friesman and Velvet coming over the wall to make sure no one goes down. But there's the Glacial Master with Lamb's Respect to save Velvet, but Ikea picks off Friesman as well. Velvet is looking to get out here. Ace in the hole does not pick up. It is blocked. Gutzler now taking a ton of damage, has to use Lamb Growth to get out of there.
This cannon is doing so much damage right now. Almost one-shots Velvet with just a QE combo. Has to immediately pop some Lamb's Respite. A death cap of himself right now. Both these teams are going all out. Throwing resistance out the window. Crew's the only one that's actually trying to get tanky. Everybody else is just going balls to the walls. Full one-shot builds.
I have to say,
this is the chattest series of League of Legends that I have ever seen.
The chattest series of League of Legends we've ever seen here on the ABL.
We have a Rageblade, Gunblade, Lichbane, Gnasher Tooth. We have 2 death caps already completed. We're seeing a Kiana mid. I love it. This is so much fun. It makes my job as a color commentator hard because I don't even think the players know what they are doing at this point, so how can I analyze it?
Full aggression is always a strategy, let me tell you. Red team, Dynasty eSports picks up a Cloud Drake for themselves. Going to be making use of that extra speed, I assume, and hope as they make rotations here.
Alright, well, now Baron spawning here in just under a minute should give us a nice objective for these teams to fight around. We know they love to fight.
Yes, we do. But it is in the favor of Grim Legion right now. They are completely set up and Vision in their favor. The only issue is that little Rift Scuttler ward just barely ticking down.
Yeah, so we'll be able to see if they go to the actual Baron pit. And that is very crucial information. They should be safe with that.
Look at this rush. Watch it. Khan comes through. We do see Glacial coming out here. Ikea gets the kill on to Friesman, looking for Rat to get out here. Ooh, Zonya's is making its way. It's not quite. We do see the wild and the Q come through, but it's not going to be enough. His crew's going to be able to pick up the pool. The pool comes through it as we see Lamb's Respite not be able to save him. Velvet just barely taking out Kia going forward here. The Ignite comes through, but Velvet is able to pick it out, but the flash forward from Ikea picks it up for a double kill.
Beautiful trap there set by Grim Legion. The Death Bush in the river. They're able to find so much damage. Rat actually survives for a long time, and I think that actually baited Dynasty eSports back into the fight, thinking they might be able to turn it around, but they seem very disgruntled. Velvet, with a late Lamb's Respite, doesn't actually get anybody, and that just keeps him in harm's way even longer. Overall, 4-for-1 trade plus the Baron coming through for Grim Legion. They have a very real chance of taking us to a Game 3.
Now we have to see how is Grim Legion going to improve on their use of the Baron. They already picked it up once this game, but they didn't see it through to the end. They got picked off too quickly. Now we have to see, is Grim Legion going to go for another team fight? Are they going to wait it out? Are they going to play it through to the end and finish off Dynasty and take us to Game 3?
That is the question. We did talk about the scaling coming through from Dynasty, the Vladimir, the Kindred, the Draven does scale pretty well. I guess you could say Lulu is a scaling champion this game. I don't have enough experience with late game AP attack speed Lulus to really give a definitive answer on that one. But we have seen time and time again, it is Grim Legion winning these fights because of the massive amount of team fighting capabilities they have. The Cannon ultimate, the Kiana ultimate, the Glacial Prison from Sejuani.
Ooh, turret goes down the mid. Khan takes a big chunk of damage from Rat. Not quite going to be able to pick off this inhib just yet. They have to back off.
Still the Baron minions though, firing away. One more cannon in the auto attack would have done it, but Rat was able to pull the aggro from it very crucially. That means they hang on to this inhibitor for at least 10 seconds longer.
10 seconds, you know. Yep, there it goes. Ikea picks it off, finishes off the inhib. It looks like Dynasty has to play back here. Ooh, we see the pinks coming out. A shift to the top side as this wave pushes in here. Kiana on up here, going to be looking to pick that off.
There was just so much damage on either side. It's really whoever gets the engage off first is almost guaranteed to win the fight.
Speaking of engage, we see the Glacial Prison come through the knockup. Friesman just barely shifts it out. Unbreakable doing so much to block here. Khan not able to get a perfect stun with the slicing Maelstrom. It does look like Cruz goes down as a result as he can't get out. Rat flashes forward with Hemophage to get a bit of damage as Ikea has to run out here, taking too much. Wild Growth comes through to save it. Lamb's Respite now on the floor, but Draven picks up Ikea as he runs away. Khan just barely is able to pick up a kill here as everyone is just going absurd, but it looks like Dynasty is able to throw this one together for a full team wipeout.
My God, these teams are going tit for tat. Just such an even game. Not at all what we saw in game one. This time around, Grim Legion, they burnt a lot of their big ultimates early. The Sejuani ultimate did not connect. Khan only found Friesman with his ultimate. And with those big team fighting abilities down, that was the trigger that Dynasty needed to go forward and clean up the team fight. Rat flashing in with the 3-man ult plus charged E, then using the Sanguine Pool and the Zhonya's to allow his team to close that gap. And they just tore through Grim eSports. They might be able to pick up the dragon off the backhand here. This is an Elder Dragon with 3 Elemental Drakes.
It already looks like Cruz is in position, does not want to give this up. The damage coming through, we do see Glacial Prison on to Friesman here just to slow it down a little bit, taken down to half health, but Sapling is there. They're looking to pull this one out now so they can make the exchange. Ooh, Cruz coming through the back line, tries to steal it, not quite, is going to get knocked up and stunned, just ripped through. Cruz goes down as a result, could not make the steal happen.
And that was actually massive for them. Now they're going to have the Elder, and they are going to be marching down this mid lane probably. And with the jungler down, they have a man advantage to top it off.
Looks like both... Ooh, Kiana's going to be the one to respond to this top side, but the mid wave is coming hot. Sapling, Friesman, and Rat making their way down here. Lachlan barely misses the hook.
That was so close. If you could pick off that Draven, this game starts to look different.
This game looks different every 5 seconds, I'm going to be honest.
That it does. Just so many things going in. Every time one team gets a little bit of advantage, it seems like the other team is able to respond beautifully. Now Ikea looking to set up the Protect comp here.
Ooh, Lachlan not quite able to get a hook again. Like you said, so crazy to keep watching for this.
Hey, now they find the ward.
Ooh, looks like Dynasty rotating on the bot side of this red jungle, maybe looking to make a flank happen, but Khan is already there. He's getting a huge Sapling out of position. Ikea finishing it off.
And I'm a little bit confused here because Dynasty, after picking up the Elder Dragon, split their composition apart. They send 2 people or 3 people to go toward the jungle. The Kindred is farming mid and the Lulu is the bot lane. Normally, you really want to force a team fight in that situation. Sapling is found alone, and he loses his life. Rat is trying to cut the minion wave off, and maybe just go for the end. This could be a base race.
Ooh, could be a base race. Rat is pushed back and stunned. Ooh, gotta turn attention. Look at this knock up here from Braum. The stun comes through. He's gonna go down. Almost Lamb's Respite just barely saves him as Khan is using it too. Cruz goes down as a result as he can't get out. Looks like Velvet just barely survives with Wild Growth, but Kessler gets pulled. Absolutely smashed as Ikea gets a double kill with Ace in the hole. Now they're looking to end this as quick as they can. Rat, by the way, gets a kill on the bot side. It may be the base race we're looking for.
Rat gets a kill, but what is he giving up? Oh, the Sapling responds. That might mean that Rat could end the game.
Ooh, Rat is in the position to do so. Big damage coming out
They
on
just need to stop back.
here. Ooh, Sapling just making sure barely the turrets are going down with Nexus. Rat is just picking them off one by one by one. Ooh, the Nexus is only a few health away. Rat picks it up for Dynasty at the end.
From a 20-minute domination to a 41-minute base race. I think we have broken multiple records here in this series.
Absolutely absurd finish from Dynasty. Grim goes in so deep and they can't get out. Rat capitalizes so well. He's able to pick up the kill on the Kiana and he just goes for it. One turret down, another turret down, and the Nexus slowly chipping away as Sapling makes an effort to make sure Ikea and they can't get out to bot lane. I'm sorry, I'm frazzled.
Grim Legion, they tried their damnedest there. They almost came back in that series, sent us to a game 3. But it was all it all started with Kessler. Although every other lane was losing, Kessler got so far ahead with an AP Lulu mid of all things and was able to buy his team enough time to scale into the late game to the point where Rat and Sapling and Velvet were just demolishing people in these fights and bought them enough for the base race win.
Absolutely absurd.
I don't know how to analyze this. I really don't.
I don't. It's such an incredibly aggressive game. The macro was just there in the favor of Dynasty at the end. They had the wave consistently push up. The inhib was down in the top side. So you knew you had that wave constantly pushing. Rye was not able to come through and defend against Rat. And as a result, Dynasty pushed to end.
That they do valiant effort there by Grim eSports, but unfortunately, they're going to end the day with 2 series losses. They do pick up a single win against Dynasty, but just not their day today.
Do they?
Oh no, they didn't break. They didn't get a single win against Dynasty. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, very. They won the game against the White Lotus. That was right.
Okay. I was about to say, did we just go to 3 games? I almost lost myself for a second.
It's been such a crazy series. I'm just losing track of what's actually going on.
All right. Other than that, though, Audio, give me your interpretation. Who shall we interview from Dynasty? An absolutely absurdly talented team.
I would love to pick Kessler's brain on what inspired that Lulu pick. Otherwise, Sapling, dominant in game 1, would be a great one to interview. Velvet kind of started off that entire series for them, was pretty crucial in the second game as well.
I don't know. They're all fantastic.
They all did good.
They all did great. Rat coming through with the base race. Sapling dominant on the Draven 2 games in a row. Velvet in absurd jungle pathing to come through consistently. And Friesman as a wonderful support with the positioning consistently just to able to finish everything off. I think we'll give it to Sapling simply due to the consistent gameplay on the Draven, which can be an absurd pick that just requires a lot of skill, especially if you want it to succeed. Personal opinion. All right. Sapling. How are you doing? Welcome to the caster desk. I want to start first off to congratulate you on an incredible victory against Grim Legion.
Hey, well, thanks. I didn't think I'd get pulled in here. I played pretty dog game 2.
Oh.
So.
Well, I do have to say, sorry, Audio, but
game 1 though.
Yeah, your game 1 was absurd. How, pulling through that as a whole, where did that come from? Where was the just absolute crushing lead, and how did it just transition so well into that absurd victory?
Well, if I remember correctly, we made a bot play with Dorjan. We slow pushed like 3 waves into tower. And we looked for something, and then the Jarvan countered, and we just 3v3 and we win that because some items up. I had like BF Vape, and Caitlyn had Pickaxe or something, Vamp Scepter. So like immediate lead. I got BT on that base, and then I had Stopwatch and my runes. And we went to go do Dragon. I baited them in. We finished Dragon, I Stopwatch, and I lived, and we just killed him, and it's like pretty game over at that point. So, I don't know, that's from my perspective.
Your team played 2 best-of-3 series today. I'm sure you guys exhausted. What was your mentality coming into that second series? Were you guys worn out after the first one?
No, not in the slightest. We play like double blocks of scrims all the time, so we're playing for like 4 or 5 hours like all the time. We know we're the best team in the league too, so it's just like wipe these guys like anybody else, you know.
Ooh.
I like the confidence.
Little
You
bit
heard
of
it here
confidence,
first. Dynasty
maybe a bit
esports,
arrogant.
number
Who
one.
knows?
All right.
But Dynasty, I mean, Dynasty as a whole, coming through those games, you had such an uphill battle in game 2. Did you truly expect that out of Grim Legion for them to hold on so tight?
I don't know. They didn't really make any proactive plays game 2. Like we just walked into them over and over.
I have to ask Sapling, what inspired the AP Lulu mid pick from Kessler in game 2?
So we did the draft bait, or we picked first 2. It looked like Draven Lulu the bot lane, right? And then we picked Braum later on with double marksman with the Kindred, and we swapped it around. So
Is that something you guys have been practicing lately, or was that just one of Kessler's pocket picks?
We've had it in the books. It is one of his pocket picks to Lulu mid. And I said go like Luden's Lich or something, and he said nah, I got it.
He definitely did have it. He played extremely well that game. Both of you carrying your team through the series, you in game 1, him in game 2.
I have to say, looking forward, I know you just gave us a little bit of that clue in there saying Dynasty is one of the best here at the ABL for this Season 7. But looking forward, is there anything for your team that you have to watch out for, or you're looking forward to, something that may be in the works, something that you may have to watch out for as you approach these next upcoming weeks?
I mean, there certainly are a few teams that we're screened against and lost, right? So there are things we have to improve on. I don't know if you guys want specifics, but I don't know. Like our team, we practice a lot, right? Like we expect to get better. So whatever state we look in now, will be better in the weeks coming.
All right. Well, thank you, Sapling. Congratulations once again on your win, and thank you for sharing a little bit of insight to us. I think that is going to be all that we have for you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right. Well, Audio, any last words on such an incredible series here?
Thank you to all the fans that stuck around this late. Normally, the ABL does not run until 1 o'clock in the morning, at least Eastern time. We had a lot of series today, a lot of League of Legends to watch, and you guys stuck through it with us all, or stuck through it with us to the end. And we really do appreciate it. If you do want to see more content, once again, as we have started out, if you would like to subscribe or make any donations, it all comes back to the production to make you guys an even better amount of content. So we just love our fans so much, and we wouldn't do it without you.
Well said. Well said. Sorry, my voice shot after those 2 games.
Tearing up a little bit?
I'm just tearing up a little bit, Audio. You're so fans. But other than that, I do want to say it has been a wonderful series tonight. I thank everybody for tuning in. I have been Z, your play-by-play caster for the night.
And I have been Audio. Thanks again to everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next time.